Hello everyone. In this video, we're gonna have a little glimpse and more thoughts on how empathy is going to affect our communication, why empathy is needed, how empathy is gonna make our communication in a better way, and understanding other people's pain points. So let's just see how empathy works. Why empathy is more important in today's fast moving world. We people are lagging with a lot of empathies. Why? Because we sympathize for the people and we don't empathize. There's two different points here we have to consider: what is meant by empathy and what is meant by sympathy. Sympathy is you feel bad for a person that something has happened to them, wherein on the other hand, empathy is you feel the pain of the people, feeling just sad and living the moment, and then not even considering, has a humongous difference when it comes to feeling the pain of the people. Consider that you're walking onto the road and all of a sudden you saw an accident, and the courtesy to go and help them, feeling their pain, it is called as empathy. Standing there like an ideal, like watching viewers that some important event had happened and leaving us it and then going, that's what you call as sympathy. So, why sympathy is not playing a big part when it comes to the communication, and why empathy is being emphasized a lot. We'll see to it. What is empathy when it comes to the communication? There are three things we have to take into consideration here. The first one is active listening. So, what is this active listening? I've been talking about this in the previous video and this video as well. Active listening means you literally listen to each and every word which is being said or communicated by another person. When somebody is talking to you, it is a very basic common sense, and it's very basic good manner that we have to listen to the person each and every word what they're trying to tell us. Only then you can reply or you can give a suggestion to them when they want, literally when they want it. So this is what you call as active listening. Active listening is nothing but you put 100% attention to what they're saying and you acknowledge whatever that they say, so without judging. The second one is reflecting the understanding. So when you are speaking with them, try to reflect or use the words like, what I can hear you saying is, it says that you're actually validating what they're trying to say. You're validating their pain, you're validating what their suffering is. So this is what you have to do in the second stage. When third one, responding with the care. When you respond a person with the care, it shows that you are literally listening to every word that has been said by them. This is the big one of the big difference between the empathy and sympathy. You don't just stand there idly, as I was giving an example in the previous slide, but you get onto the field and then you help them and you show the care and the concern that you have for the person. That is what you call as responding with care. So these are the three things we have to get into consideration when it comes to why and how empathy could be helpful. Let's just see into the three different phases of empathy. The first one is your cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy means understanding another person's perspective and thought process without making a judgment or assumption. When a person is talking to you, even before they complete what they're trying to say, do not come up to a conclusion. Don't jump into this is what they're trying to say. That conclusion, that judgment, it just makes them to feel that okay, my points are not worthy enough. I'm not sharing it with the right person. Try not to give such kind of an hurted feeling to a person when they really need it to be heard. So the first one, you have to be cognitive empathetic. Second one is emotional empathetic. Every emotion has to be valued. Every emotion has to be validated. When somebody is deep down, they're pouring down their feelings and emotion, whatever the emotion it could be. It could be any extremes like joy or sad or sorrow, worried, jealous. Just listen to them, and if you could give a right solution or suggestion, just go ahead with that. The last one is empathetic concern. Empathetic concern means you're giving them a positive response, and your solution, it has to be like responsible. When any person have committed a mistake and they come and commenting on that, then that time you can tell them genuinely what you did was not right. It's better that you have to change it. So whatever the solution or suggestion that you are giving, make sure that you are responsible for that. The next one is the social science behind the communication. Every word what we speak, everything has a connection with this science, I would say. And the first one is mirror neuron at work. You know that our brain is connected with the neurons. Every small information that we drop inside the brain, it just goes and stores in every tiny particles of the neurons. Neurons are the storehouses of the memory that we have actually hold on to. What we have to do is we have to mirror the neurons, which means specialized neurons in our brain act automatically stimulate other emotions and action. So when I'm storing in one of my storage of the neurons, I'm going to store an idea on feelings, and in another I'm going to store on the crying emotion. So try to store in every neuron whatever the information that has been getting into your head, and have a thorough understanding on it so which you can give them the answer or provide them an idea more logical way. Second one is psychological safety. Empathetic leaders create environments where team members feel safety to innovate, take risk, and demonstrate unwavering loyalty. Psychological safety is when a good leader is there. If they are very much empathetic, that helps them to form a team which could be more of an innovation. They're ready to take risk for them, and they're ready to take any kind of decision for them. They stay more loyal. So the second part of science that is lying behind the empathetic is psychological safety. Third one is measurable business impact. So if you have a strong soft skill and a strong technical skill, these two goes hand in hand, for which empathy plays a very important role. Empathy in action, real world impact. So let's see where empathy works in different parts of the world. The first one in the healthcare, second one in the business leadership skill, and third one in the personal transformation. In a healthcare, you take nurse as an example. Of course, they gotta be very patient with the people, because when they attend any patient, they have to be very much patience, because sometimes they come with pain, sometimes they come with different kind of an irritation. The crowd is there, and pain is there. So that time, the nurse cannot go and say like you met with an accident, you have to endure the pain. No, they have the responsibility of dealing them in very kind gesture and making them to feel ease out. So in healthcare, empathy plays a diverse role. Second, business leadership skill. When it comes to the business leadership skill, the people who are in the business role definitely they have to have the empathetic, because this shows that 76% of the employees that work under empathetic role or leader who has a lot of empathy, they yield 100% of the result. So even if the leader can show only a partial amount of the empathetic, or if he has a sense of an empathetic, definitely the production will be like higher. Personal transformation. I being a person, why empathy is important. If at all I can't feel the pain and emotion of another person, I don't think or I can't expect someone else to understand my own pain. Right? So this is how three different ways in the real world the empathy works. What are the barriers that we come across when we look into the empathies? The first one is the digital distraction, of course. I gave you an example in the very first slide. If an accident had happened, how do you react? We are living in a world where most of the people are just shooting a video of what how the accident had happened. They have completely forgotten that there is a person lying on the road fully bleeding, right? So such kind of a humans is how we are having in this world. So digital distraction is a lot, and they shoot it, they post it on Instagram just to get more number of likes and share. So first we have to avoid the digital distraction. The second one is mixed signal. If you can't understand the body language of the person, definitely we'll end up with wrong idea. That would also lead us to have a lack of empathy. Third one is emotional overloaded. If a person is too much emotional and sensitive, it's very hard for them to decipher the emotions and feeling between do they really understand or I'm really overloaded. This is how they do. So they should have a real and quick understanding about how emotional works. How to cultivate empathy in conversation. So you want to learn how to use empathy into your conversation. We'll just see how it works. The first one is practice active listening. I've been talking about this a lot, so I'm not going to explain furthermore. Active listening is nothing but you pay 100% of attention to what other person is speaking. The second one, always end up with an open-ended question. Why open-ended question is because you might know whether the two different extremes of the answer. So for which it is better to have open-ended question. Third one, reflect and validate. Whenever emotional content is being delivered, please do reflect it with a positive gesture and validate the emotion of the person. Next, the final one is manage your emotion. When a person is explaining you about this is trauma that I have been undergone, try to manage your emotion. You don't get so much involved in being more emotionally, making them to feel so sad or hard. Don't do that. Instead, stay stable, normal, and be with the person. This is how the empathy works when you're speaking in the conversation. Empathy resolves conflicts and build trust. Okay. So far in the video, we have seen how empathy works, what are the barriers, and how we can use empathy in our own conversation. Let's see how the empathy is going to build a trust and how it's going to resolve the conflicts. The first one is multiple perspective. Imagine you're working in a workspace where 10 to 15 people are there. Definitely, you throw up a problem, people will have a different perspective, right? So, multiple perspective, people will come to a conclusion with the help of empathy. So the problems is resolved there easily. Then validation reduces defensiveness. If you're going to validate the emotion and feeling of another person, definitely that is going to reduce the defensiveness, the conflict or the chaos which is actually happening then, it would reduce or it will not happen if empathy is being heightened. The last one is we feel more honest. So the person who has the empathy, they'll be brutally honest. It's very easy. So another way of helping us to get over with the conflicts and the chaos. The final slide is all about the empathy and its advantage. Transform your communication today with the help of four different tips that I'm going to give. First one, meaningful connection. When you connect with a person, make sure that you connect with them more meaningfully and not just for the sake of the name. Empathy turns an ordinary conversation into a real and a beautiful bonding conversation. Second one, develop a skill. So how I can cultivate the empathy inside my mind and how it's going to be helpful in two different perspectives, one on the professional, another one as a personal. Third one, start now. Listen carefully to every word that has been addressed and answer carefully, genuinely respond to it. So that's all I have got in this entire video. Until the next video, see you. Bye bye.